I was surprised that you were not cynical or guarded at all, and things just moved really quick.
I found it strange that you weren't skeptical or led at all, and that things went by so quickly. Brad Pitt just told the truth about George Clooney's split, and it's not the happy ending that Hollywood made it seem like. Cracks had already started to show through the fancy red carpets and expensive trips, some that not even Clooney's charm could fix. Behind closed doors there were competing goals, rising emotions, and a truth that was not spoken. Pitt is now letting everyone see what really went wrong. What he told me is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Wait until you hear what he said, then everything will make sense. In Hollywood, love stories are never just love stories. They are complicated shows that were carefully set up for the cameras. Every smile on the red carpet, every walk through Venice with a loved one, and every carefully chosen interview adds to the idea that everything is great. This dream came true with George Clooney and Amal El-Amoudin's marriage, which was a sign of class and grace. But as soon as word spread that they were getting a divorce, the fantasy fell apart. Fans were going crazy. Tabloids broke down every detail of their relationship, and people came up with all kinds of ideas. Then the surprise that no one saw coming. Brad Pitt, who is already a big name in Hollywood, chose to spill some secrets from behind the scenes. And what he revealed, it wasn't the normal rustling of schedules or arguments that couldn't be solved. Pitt instead hinted at something much dirtier, something that could change everything everyone thought about Clooney and Angelina's marriage. If what Pitt says is true, then Hollywood's golden couple may have been hiding a very different side of themselves from the perfect picture they put out there. Did the world really see them as a power couple, or was their love story just another well-made lie? Before we get to Pitt's shocking news, let's go back to the beginning of it all. The truth about this failing marriage is about to rock Hollywood to its core. People all over the world were blown away when George Clooney and Amal El-Amoudin first showed up in public together in 2013. The Hollywood bachelor with silver hair, who had always been known for not wanting to get married, had fallen in love with a bright human rights lawyer. She was beautiful and smart, and seemed like she would be right at home on the red carpet or in court. Their relationship was like a modern fairy tale. It had both the glitz and seriousness of Hollywood and the weight of international law. By the time they got married in September 2014, their relationship was well known. The wedding in Venice was very Hollywood. Oscar de la Renta made Amal look beautiful, and George, who always looks good with the main lady, smiled at her. The $4.6 million party was very classy, with 100 very important guests being taken between fancy sights on a ferry. It was great for them to be a power pair. George ruled Hollywood with movies like Gravity, and Amal fought famous cases in court. It was impossible to deny their unwavering support and smooth mix of prestige and star power. Whether they were in court or on the set, they were perfect in every way when they went out in public. They looked like old Hollywood stars at the Met Gala. They seemed smart and put together at human rights conferences. In interviews, they found a nice mix between flirting and respecting each other. George often joked that he got married, and Amal quietly admitted that they were together. Their natural energy led to a lot of talk about relationship goals on social media, and even body language experts agreed that their relationship seemed real and had deep roots. But their marriage was about more than just looks and status. It had a reason for being. They started the Clooney Foundation for Justice together, which gives millions of dollars to human rights work around the world. George used his fame to bring attention to problems like Darfur. Amal, on the other hand, worked with Yazidi survivors of ISIS's crimes. Their charitable work blurred the lines between Hollywood and humanitarian work. At their Lake Como villa, they held fundraisers that mixed serious campaigning with fancy parties with famous people. From helping with disaster relief in Lebanon, to working for racial justice in the U.S., their work together showed that they were truly committed to making a difference. But behind the carefully crafted picture of beauty, small cracks were starting to show. When twins Ella and Alexander were born in June 2017, their lives were changed forever. Despite the fact that their great wealth gave them every comfort, they were still faced with the same problems that all first-time parents face. At age 56, George freely admitted that being a dad was too much for him, and he even made fun of the idea of being an old dad. Becoming parents happened at the same time that both of them had a lot of work to do. Amal was in the middle of important court cases, and Georgia had to travel a lot for her Hollywood work. At first it looked like they were able to balance work and home life well. They split their time between several fancy homes, changing their plans to work with each other's jobs. Private jets saved their lives by letting them keep up their high-class lifestyles across countries. Through interviews, a picture of balance was drawn. George was proud of how smart Amal was, and she was proud of how he always stood by her. But the balancing act was hard on them. Their fancy homes on Lake Como, in the English countryside, in Los Angeles, and in Manhattan were both signs of their wealth and memories of how hard their lives were. The constant movement made it hard to find real security. People started to notice that the fairy tale was getting tense when Amal didn't show up to important Hollywood events, and George missed important UN events. They used to go on date nights in Italy all the time, but now their plans were clashing and they had work to do. Fans who paid attention saw the change. The playful closeness they showed in public changed to more formal interactions. It took more work to keep up the link they used to have so easily. George has known Brad Pitt for a long time, and trusts him in Hollywood. Their friendship, which grew stronger during the Ocean's 11 era, had been the focus of endless media attention. But when rumors spread that Clooney was having problems in his marriage, became an unlikely commentator. Pitt gave an inside look at the pressures that Hollywood power couples face after going through his own well-known split. Pitt says that the magazine articles never told the whole story. In Amal's world of courts and foreign diplomacy, things moved at a very different pace than in George's world of movie sets and award shows. George liked being around other people, but Amal liked things to be structured and in order. Because they were apart for long amounts of time, their marriage turned into a long-distance relationship, which was hard for even the strongest couples to keep up. The reporters also kept looking into it all the time. Every pose on the red carpet, every missed event, and every tired moment caught on camera by the reporters led to more rumors. Pitt didn't hold back. It was really hard to work in Hollywood. In a world that is obsessed with looks, it's hard to keep a real friendship going when everyone is looking at you all the time. Fame makes flaws stand out more, and it can turn small disagreements into major ones. The Clooneys were under a lot of pressure to look perfect while pursuing their goals and taking care of their kids. Having kids widened their gap. George struggled with being spontaneous and being a dad, while Amal wanted security. A famous pair had to make a lot of sacrifices for their marriage, and even the sexiest couples have to deal with stress. Brad Pitt did respect one thing about Clooney, though the way he dealt with the fallout with class. George wouldn't say anything, even as rumors of a breakup got stronger. In a rare interview, he talked about how great his time with Amal was, and how committed they were to being co-parents. There was a lesson in how to stay calm under pressure. This was very different from the explosive breakups that Hollywood was known for. By the end, their story served as a wake-up call. No matter how great a relationship seems, problems will happen in the real world. People may have looked up to George and Amal, but at their core they were just two people trying to balance love, family and desire in the harsh light of fame. Brad Pitt knows a lot about George Clooney that not many other people do. Their 20-year friendship has grown through shared movie sets, inside jokes, and late-night talks about life outside of Hollywood. Brad is one of George's best friends, because they have a friendship that has stood the test of fame. On the other hand, Brad saw his friend change over time in a way that the cams couldn't see. They became friends while working on Ocean's 11 in 2001. Their silly jokes and jokey pranks quickly became legendary in Hollywood. Off-screen, they talked about more than just how the business works. They talked about love, desire, and how hard it is to find a balance between being happy and meeting the needs of fame. George went from being the most attractive bachelor in the world to a loving husband and father, and Brad was there to see it all. It looked like the perfect Hollywood fairy story. For years that George was married to Amal Muddin, a very good human rights lawyer, the beautiful actress, and the smart lawyer who lived a fancy life in Los Angeles, London, and Lake Como. But Brad started to notice small changes behind the well-kept public image. When the couple got together with close friends and family at George's villa in Italy, Brad noticed that their talks became less casual and more structured. When they were together, they used to tease each other in a way that seemed practiced, like they were practicing for a show, instead of just loving being with each other. At first I thought it was just how marriages change over time, but as time went on, it became harder to ignore the signs. During a weekend at Brad's French chateau, there was the first real moment of worry. George and Amal got there separately, which may seem like a small thing but says a lot. Like two faraway stars in different orbits, they moved around each other. Even though nothing was said, the warmth was still there, but it was less intense. Brad saw the trend because he had seen his own marriage to Angelina Jolie slowly fall apart. Brad later said, "At first it wasn't clear, but now that you look back, you can see how they started making separate plans, and how their priorities started to pull them in different ways." In Europe, Amal took on more clients. "I don't want to be with anyone else." George stayed longer in Los Angeles. In their younger years, they used to be able to perfectly sync up with each other. Brad didn't know how to help his friend, because he cared about them, and realized the stress that comes with being famous. He was well aware of how the world expected a show, turning private times into public shows. Every dinner was in the news, and every choice was looked over very carefully. Brad said, "It changes you. It changes how you feel about them. You stop living for each other, and start living for the people watching you." Rumors of trouble in George's marriage weren't just about how busy they were, or how much fame they had. George was interested in something or someone, and Brad saw it happen live. It wasn't just him who saw it. That change in George's mood, and the way his attention seemed to wander were all signs of something deeper and more surprising. Who was this mystery person that George Clooney was interested in? What did it mean for his marriage? Don't leave yet, because this news will blow your mind. Hollywood Friends are about as solid as a movie that doesn't do well at the box office. Today it's here, tomorrow it's gone. After the cameras stop running, people often forget their big smiles on the red carpet, their over-the-top award show speeches, and their promises to be loyal for life. When egos and plans clash, the best friend of 1 year quickly fades into memory the next. But George Clooney and Julia Roberts have done something that didn't seem possible. Their relationship has been strong for more than 20 years, through all of Hollywood's ups and downs, including short-lived alliances and co-star pairs. Their friendship has only grown stronger, while most friendships on screen stop as soon as the director yells cut. It all began in 2000 on the set of Ocean's 11, a movie with a lot of big-name stars. You'd think that two huge stars like Clooney and Roberts would stay away from each other, and circle each other like careful rivals, but they hit it off right away, just on a friendly level. Clooney is always ready with a clever one-liner. He once joked that their friendship was an easy link that led to a decades-long working relationship. Their comedic banter, which is half charm and half sarcastic eye rolls, has been in many of their movies, from Ocean's 12, to Confessions of a Dangerous Mind to Money Monster to Ticket to Paradise. Some people say it's undeniable chemistry, while others say it's just two famous people making money off of an easy recipe. It worked either way. People liked how they worked together, and it turned into more than just movies. Because they were friends off screen, they became like family to them. Things that happen behind the scenes aren't the only things that keep their relationship going. It's the never-ending jokes, pranks, and real friendships that happen behind the scenes. It was Clooney versus Roberts, who has never been afraid to start a trick war on set. Clooney calls himself the king of practical jokes in Hollywood. Co-stars and team members have often been caught in the middle and hurt by their mischievous behavior. Is it a sign of real friendship, or just a way to pass the time on set during the long boring hours? Either way, it keeps the headlines coming. While Clooney spent years convincing the world he was a lifelong bachelor, that narrative took a sharp turn in 2014, when he shocked fans by marrying Amal Alamuddin, an accomplished human rights lawyer. By 2017, he was a father to twins, a far cry from his previous jet-setting commitment-free lifestyle. Meanwhile, Roberts has navigated her own roller coaster ride of fame, balancing the highs of critical acclaim with the occasional career misstep. Not every film could be Pretty Woman after all. Through it all, Clooney remained her biggest cheerleader, always ready to gush about her talent, her humor, or whatever compliment made for a good headline that day. In return, Roberts has called him her favorite co-star more times than anyone can count, ensuring their brand as Hollywood's most beloved platonic duo remains intact. I think you have to find that person. But even the strongest friendships aren't immune to Hollywood's favorite pastime, drama. When rumors of trouble in Clooney's marriage began making the rounds, it didn't take long for Roberts' name to get dragged into the speculation. Did she break her silence on the supposed marital struggles? Was she caught in the crossfire of gossip? Or was it just another case of Hollywood's rumor mill spinning a tale out of thin air? Regardless of the truth, one thing is certain: Clooney and Roberts' friendship, no matter how solid, isn't exempt from the entertainment industry's never-ending thirst for intrigue. What makes their bond even more remarkable is how rare it is in an industry driven by fierce competition. Hollywood has never been known as a place where actors root for each other. More often than not, they're battling for the same roles, the same awards, the same status. Julia and her family are their family, so that's the truth. But Clooney and Roberts have largely avoided this trap, their careers following distinct paths that rarely intersect. Clooney has mastered the role of Hollywood's suave, debonair leading man, while Roberts has remained America's sweetheart, even as her roles have evolved over time. Their lack of direct competition has likely helped preserve their friendship, eliminating the jealousy and rivalry that so often poison long-term Hollywood relationships. Still, their friendship hasn't been completely free of public scrutiny. Clooney's shift into family life has often been juxtaposed with Roberts' more private approach to motherhood, leading to unfair comparisons about how they balance their personal and professional lives. It's an exhausting, outdated narrative, one that pits men and women against each other based on unrealistic expectations. But through it all, Clooney and Roberts have managed to sidestep most of the pitfalls that doom other Hollywood friendships. Their dynamic is built on more than just nostalgia. It's a well-oiled marketing machine. Every project they collaborate on is sold not just as a film, but as a continuation of their iconic off-screen friendship. Moviegoers aren't just buying tickets for the plot. They're buying into the story of George and Julia, the golden pair who, against all odds, have remained unshaken by the chaos of Hollywood. Love George. I just love him. Their friendship isn't just about camaraderie, it's a brand. And in an industry where image is everything, that's perhaps the biggest reason why their bond has endured for over 2 decades. But here's the question: is their friendship a genuine bond, or has it evolved into a carefully curated Hollywood brand? The answer might change everything you thought you knew, so keep watching. The contrasting worlds of a Hollywood darling. Julia Roberts has long been America's sweetheart, her megawatt smile lighting up screens and cementing her place as one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. But behind the effortless charm is a woman who has mastered the art of longevity in an industry that rarely grants it. And at her side, in more ways than one, has been George Clooney, a fellow A-lister, whose friendship with Julia has weathered decades of Hollywood's ever-changing tides. Their bond, forged on the set of Ocean's 11 in 2001, isn't just another surface-level celebrity alliance built on red carpet appearances and well-rehearsed soundbites. Clooney and Roberts have a chemistry that extends far beyond the silver screen. Their playful jabs at each other, their effortless banter in interviews, and their shared ability to laugh at the absurdity of fame, have made them one of Hollywood's most endearing duos. Unlike so many industry friendships that fizzle out once the cameras stop rolling, theirs has only grown stronger. But before Julia became the kind of actress who could command $20 million a film, she was just a girl from Smyrna, Georgia, raised in a world where storytelling was second nature. Born in 1967 to actor parents Betty Lou and Walter Roberts, she grew up surrounded by the theatrics of the stage. Her parents ran the Atlanta Actors and Writers Workshop, a breeding ground for creative minds, so it was no surprise when Julia set her sights on Hollywood. Her road to stardom wasn't instant. After a forgettable TV debut in Crime Story in 1987, and an equally forgettable film, Satisfaction, in 1988, Julia finally found her breakout moment with Pretty Woman in 1990. The film, a modern Cinderella story about a charismatic escort and a wealthy businessman, catapulted her into superstardom. While the role wasn't exactly groundbreaking, audiences couldn't get enough of her infectious energy and undeniable screen presence. Julia Roberts wasn't just an actress, she had become a phenomenon. Over the next decade, she solidified her reign as the queen of romantic comedies, starring in box office hits like My Best Friend's Wedding in 1997 and Notting Hill in 1999. But it was Erin Brockovich in 2000 that proved she wasn't just a rom-com darling. She was a powerhouse performer capable of delivering Oscar-worthy performances. The role earned her an Academy Award and a new level of respect in Hollywood. It was around this time that she crossed paths with George Clooney. By 2001,
Clooney was already a household name, having transitioned from his ER days to full-fledged movie stardom. Their first collaboration, Ocean's 11, wasn't just a career highlight, it was the beginning of a friendship that would become one of Hollywood's most enduring. We became like instant friends. They reunited for Ocean's 12 in 2004, and continued their on-screen magic with Money Monster in 2016, and Ticket to Paradise in 2022, where their natural chemistry carried the film more than the plot itself. Their friendship has thrived because they both understand the game. Hollywood is filled with fleeting relationships, but Clooney and Roberts have found a way to stay grounded in a world that constantly tries to pull people apart. They poke fun at their own fame, making fun of each other at award shows, roasting one another in interviews, and engaging in legendary pranks that have become the stuff of Hollywood folklore. But beyond the laughs, there's something deeper. Their bond is built on mutual respect, an understanding of what it means to be at the top of the industry, and the rare ability to maintain a sense of normalcy in an otherwise surreal world. Julia has been one of the few people Clooney trusts enough to share both the highs and lows of his life, especially when it comes to his personal relationships. For years, George's love life was a favorite topic of speculation, all those negotiations and arguments and secrets. Before Amal Alamuddin entered the picture, he had built a reputation as Hollywood's most committed bachelor. But even after settling down, the scrutiny never stopped. Julia, always diplomatic, never added fuel to the fire. But that didn't stop people from reading between the lines. Any comment she made, no matter how harmless, was dissected, analyzed, and turned into tabloid fodder. Meanwhile, Julia's personal life has been relatively low-key. She's been married to cinematographer Daniel Motor since 2002, and together they have 3 children. Unlike many of her Hollywood peers, she's managed to keep her private life just that, private. Life that I've built with my husband, the life that we've built with our children. While she still takes on projects, including Leave the World Behind, and narrating Lisa Marie Presley's memoir, her priorities have clearly shifted towards family over fame. Despite her stable personal life, Clooney's connection still sparks buzz. Their rare enduring friendship has withstood an industry that often destroys relationships. They've navigated career highs and personal struggles while keeping things real. But lately, subtle tension has emerged. Some speculate George's evolving life has shifted their bond, while others whisper about a new unspoken dynamic. Neither Julia nor George has addressed it, but something has changed. So what do you think about Brad Pitt's revelation? Are George and Julia's newfound romance just a strategy to stay relevant, or have they truly found something different? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.